Kadosh Boker or Bekiim Bahalacha, day 80, page 238, Halacha Kaftet, different texts of Kaddish and its interpretation. So it says something like this: the custom of Sephardic Jews is to pronounce the first words of the Kaddish as Yitgadal v'Yitkadash, with a vowel of a patah under the dalit of each word. So it's Yitgadal v'Yitkadash. Some Ashkenazim say Yitgadel v'Yiskadash. I mean, they do it obviously yes, but here it says Yit. It's not Yit. Yisgadel v'Yiskadesh, right? Which that's how they do it with the vowel of the tzedei under the dalit. Okay, very good. Yeah. So he says, okay. The 416 says the Mishnah Berurah ruled that these words must be pronounced with the vowel tzedei, since these two words are in Hebrew and not in Aramaic. The word titkabal, in contrast, right, is definitely Aramaic, and therefore, right, calls for the vowel to be a patach. Rabbi Mazuz glosses on the Mishnah Berurah countered that this ruling contradicts the spelling found in the old ancient prayer books. Moreover, there's no proof that we are supposed to use the Hebrew form of these words rather than Aramaic equivalents. Besides, the use of the patach vowel in these words is also acceptable even according to the rules of the Hebrew grammar. And therefore, right, that means even though the Mishnah Berurah says it should be yitkadel v'yitkadesh, we say yitkadal v'yitkadash. Okay? Fine. Huh? Halacha number 30. The person reciting Kaddish must make sure to pronounce the word Yitgadal correctly and not mistakenly as Yitkadal, replacing the gimel with a kof. He says that word means he will grow a neck, and it is altogether inappropriate for Kaddish. Likewise, he must not pronounce the word as Yidgadal with a dalid. Okay? Fine. Next, Divera, 2 words. The words Divera should be pronounced as 2 words and not Dibera. It's not 1 word. It's Divera. Okay, now there's a whole question about kirute or chirute. The first letter, halacha number 32, the first letter of the word kirute should be pronounced as a kaf, not as a chaf. That is the regular rule for the first letter of a word. Many people, however, pronounce it with a chaf. There is basis to justify their pronunciation as well. Basically, each one has their opinions. The truth is, I always go by the minhag. And since the minhag was always chirute, to start inventing and start changing kirute, I never wanted to do such a thing. No, even though because there is basis for both, so obviously you continue with your minhag. The 417 is going to explain. Yeah. He comes and he says like this: the 6 letters of Beged Kefet, Bet Gimel Dalet Kaf Hey Pei Taf. It's when appearing at the beginning of the word has of the syllable has a dagesh kal, which signifies that there is to be pronounced as hard consonants, means a kaf. When appearing at the end of the syllable, they have no dagesh and are pronounced as soft consonants. So therefore, that's what he says. Ve'et. Vet rimel, vet rimel, zalet, kaf, fe, and thav. I don't know the way that he's saying it here. In many communities, there are different practices. For example, Syrian Jews do not have a differentiation between the letters bet, daled, or tav with a dagesh or without one. Even when a word begins with one of these 6 letters, the letter might have no dagesh if the words preceding it has aleph, he, vav, yod, or hayo. Following this rule, many prayer books present the word chirute in Kaddish with beginning with a soft kaf, since the word before it is bera, which ends with an aleph. The Rishon LeZion, however, ruled that it is more correct to pronounce it with kirute, beginning with the letter kaf. This is because the correct interpretation of the Kaddish is his great name will be magnified and sanctified in the world that he created, as is his will. That is, his will is for his name to be magnified and sanctified in the world that he created. Accordingly, the word bera is the end of one phrase, and the word kirute is the beginning of the next one. Therefore, the aleph sound at the end of bera does not affect the kaf to change it into a chaf. And we are to pronounce the word kirute. This likewise the opinion of the Gaon Vilna. This interpretation matches a passage found in the Masechet Sofrim. Right? It says over there, above all, the name of the King, King of Kings, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, will be magnified, sanctified, praised, and glorified in the worlds, right, that he created, this world and the world to come. So he says, fulfilling his will and the desire of his entire nation, the household of Israel. Obviously, the will and desire are not referring to the creation of the world, but to having his name magnified and sanctified. This likewise is the correct interpretation of the Kaddish. However, though the Rabbi Mazuz challenged this, the ruling of Maran Yishon Tzion, since Rabbeinu David Abu Daham interpreted the passage in Masechet Sofrim as follows. Remember, David Abu Daham is a Rishon, and he actually explained that the way that you're reading it is actually different. And that's why Rabbi Mazuz comes and he says, it's not that interpretation, but rather it's a different interpretation. What exactly is the interpretation? So he comes and he says, the interpretation, he comes and he says, is as follows. He says like this. He says that it says, interpreted the passage in Masechet Sofrim, he says as follows: in the worlds that he created, this world and the world to come, in accordance with his will, I has explained, right, in Kaddish, and is the desire of those who fear him and his entire nation, the household of Israel, his dominion over us will be revealed as those who fear and desire, right? That obviously we're praying for his dominion for us to be revealed, fulfilling the desire of him who fear him. According to this interpretation, the words "as his will" refers to the creation of the world, whereas the words "the desire of those who fear him" and the entire nation refers to Hashem's name, right, magnified, right, and sanctified. In that case, it's correct to say it chirute. Harav Meir Mazuz admitted, though, that despite the clear interpretation of the text of the passage of itself is more interpretation of Sion. He testified that his custom and that of the community of Tunis was to pronounce the word kirute with a letter kaf. The custom of the community is originating in Aleppo, however, pronounce it the word chirute with a letter chaf. This is likewise the custom of Moroccan Jews. The Shibulei Aleket also cited in Bet Yosef, pointed out that there are 10 expressions of the phrase in Kaddish, and he added that they correspond to the 10 utterances of the word, the meaning Asara Ma'arot. Okay, the 10 utterances of how Kaddish Baruch Hu created the world. And that's what it means in the world that he created according to his will in Kaddish. This clearly concurs with the interpretation of Rabbi David Budaham. So this explanation goes again with Rabbi Budaham. So therefore, obviously, the Alei Adas also added that this interpretation is noted by the Ravan, Rabbi Yitzchak, the Ribar Yakar, the Rokeach, and Rav Yosef Gikatili. Rav Shmuel Eliezer Stern demonstrated also that the great majority of the Rishonim concurred with this. He concluded therefore that the custom of pronouncing the word with the chirute is clearly a valid practice. Decades ago, we discussed it with Sion, and he agreed with us that those who follow the practice of pronouncing the word chirute are on solid ground. Meaning, even though Rav Ovadia wanted to say kirute, but he did admit at the end that at the end of the day, anybody that says chirute, and that's what we do here in the synagogue, right? For sure, we have what to rely on because we have very solid ground, whether it's from a lot of the Rishonim as well.